How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're dealing with this Audi A6. The customer's complaining of a ADBLUE warning present on the dash. Now this vehicle did have a no start condition in 600 miles, but when we did attend it, unfortunately that light wasn't there anymore. So we've been asked to come out and do a diagnostic test on this vehicle and give the customer a rough cost of having the vehicle repaired. So let's crack on. So while we're waiting on the tool doing a firmware update, we want to thank everybody for watching the channel. Obviously we're at just over 8,000 subscribers now, which is crazy to think, due to the fact that we only had about 2,000 about 3 months ago. So the channel is doing well, which is obviously a good thing. So yep, thanks for that, and keep watching the content and obviously subscribe, and we'll keep doing regular videos. So we did do a full system scan. Unfortunately, I did delete the codes in the engine control module, but luckily enough, I did save a picture. So the issues that we have got is the O2 sensor. We're not interested in that one at the moment. We've got reductant pressure too low, P20E800. So we've got those two fault codes, and those are the ones that we're going to be interested in today for the ADBLUE fault. So this is actually pretty easy. All we've done is done a visual, and we can see why the reductant pressure is too low. So I'll show you under the bonnet what we're dealing with here. So you can see we've got ADBLUE absolutely everywhere on this vehicle. It's actually made its way down near the crank pulley. That just shows you how much pressure it's actually pushing out. So this is your main hose right here with ADBLUE, goes into the injector, and all I had to do was lift that out, and you can see it's broken. So obviously, short video, that's an easy one. So that pipe is just broke off of the reductant agent injector. So there we go, we've got the ADBLUE no start in 600 miles. That's just came up. So basically all that pressure is just getting exerted into the engine bay, and that's why the engine bay is caked in ADBLUE crystals. So that video will be cut short, but one other thing the customer did say to us is he did get the steering column control module replaced recently. That was due, I think, due to something to do with the airbag squib. I don't know the full story with it. But since he's got that replaced, none of the steering wheel controls are working. So you can see none at all. None of the navigation, no volume, absolutely dead. So on that system scan, we did notice that we had a fault code for coding. So if we go into here, in fact, what I'll do is I will put you back up. So if we look here, we can go into steering column electrics, and you can see that the control module is coming back with incorrectly coded. So we can see what the code or the long code is that we've got if we just click on enter. So you can see that gives us basically all the hardware numbers and whatnot, and you can see the long coding is actually blank. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically all zeros, which usually happens when a new one is fitted and the coding isn't transferred over. Now, whether or not the place that done the job transferred or could read the old coding, I don't know, but it just looks like we need to update the long coding of the module, which we can do online. So we're connected to the net now, so we're going to click off this, and we can go into online function. And if we go to online coding, You can see it's just downloading the files there. We'll go on to single system mode because we want to select the steering column electronic systems. So you can see we've got a whole list of control modules that can be coded. Basically what this does is it gives you a whole list of possible codes, and one of those codes will be correct for your vehicle. So if we go on to steering column electrics, if I can find it here. So if we click on that, you can see that we've got basically initial code, which is the one that we've got, which is nothing, and that is our current code. So we've got all of these right here, which we can try. So what I normally do is just start with number 1, which is the possible code for that. So if we just click on, yep, so we can modify that to end in 1.5. So you can see the coding has been successfully carried out. Now, what I really should have done here is switch the engine off, but too busy filming. So we'll just turn the ignition back on, keep that radio off. So our coding is now, we go back out here, go to no. So we'll see what our coding is. We'll try. So we are getting functions back, but we'll just go into our fault codes and see if the incorrectly coding fault is no longer there. So you can see our coding has changed to 000015. So if we go to clear fault code, go to read DTC, so we'll just make sure, yep, so our volume, everything is working. You can see navigation. Yep, so it is all working, it seems. You can see if I click the button there, all seems to work perfectly fine. We'll see if the fault codes came back. That is not the case. So, yep, so that seems to have done a trick. So you have got, obviously, your online programming on this tool. You've got online coding, which we've just showed you there. Got a couple of different things that you might or might not ever use. But the online coding and online programming is something that you will definitely use if you're out doing jobs like I am. So we are done on that Audi A6, or is it an A7? Yeah, it is an A6. No. So we are done on that Audi A7, and we're going to move on to the next one, which I believe is a Ford Transit, but don't quote me on that. So we'll see you then. So you join us on the next job. So we're working on this Vauxhall Mocha. Customer complaint with this one is she had a code 128 and a code 89 come up on her instrument cluster. She also experienced an engine management light. So we've attended this today to run our diagnosis and figure out what's up with this vehicle. So this vehicle is an LUD engine, 2-wheel drive, not equipped, start stop, just put down not equipped, and it's a manual gearbox. So we'll go on to read fault code, and we have got a DPF, differential pressure sensor, performance, and the engine hood circuit high voltage. So the main one that we're interested on is the P2453 DPF pressure sensor performance. So let's go on to live data and see what reading we've got. So after taking this vehicle a road test, what we decided to do was smoke test it because we felt like it had a sort of boost leak sort of sound, but we've smoke tested it anyway, and it's came back with flying colours, so there's no boost leak, but we just basically had to be 100% sure. So basically, on the DPF pressure sensor, it is responding to basically the pressure. However, we have just had a discussion with the customer, and the customer has confirmed that the vehicle did have a new exhaust put on. Now, what happened with the exhaust was it had basically split right at the manifold. So all the exhaust fumes were coming into the cab. None were getting obviously out to the actual tailpipe itself. So that pressure being non-existent under certain loads in that when she was driving it could have very well flagged on this DPF pressure sensor fault, because it's more or less simulating as if it's a blockage or a burst sort of hose going to the DPF pressure sensor, I believe anyway. So the fact that that DPF pressure sensor wasn't getting any pressure when that exhaust basically was non-existent, it was snapped in two, and she says it flagged the fault code after that as well. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do the adaptation on the TOPDON. So we'll just do a learn function. So let's go here, I'll need to find this. So you can see here we've got a DPF pressure sensor reset. So we'll just click on that. We'll press OK. And once this has done the actual reset procedure, so conditions are not met, it will run, turn the ignition off. Right, so the ignition is off now. You can see it's going to do it within 20 seconds. You need to make sure you follow the instructions. So basically, we are going to monitor this one. We're also going to look at the fault code. I think it's code 128, something to do with the bonnet switch. She said that was actually a fault that's been there since the exhaust in that broke off. So you can see we are done that now. Oh no, we've just clicked off that. So I'll need to do this DPF pressure sensor reset again because I've made a complete arse of this. So I'll need to turn the ignition on again. Nothing always goes to plan. So DPF pressure sensor reset, press OK. It will then tell you turn the ignition off. Make sure you follow that. Then it will give you the 20-second countdown. So it's just telling us to turn on ignition now. So that is the procedure. DPF pressure sensor reset performed successfully. So happy days. So let's move on to this bonnet switch. So we've moved on to the bonnet status fault. So you can see that we're constantly showing open. I know the bonnet's open now, but as soon as you shut it over, it's still saying it's open. So all you need to do to really check this is just unplug the connector, and you can see it goes to closed. Obviously it will flag up a fault code, so you need to replace the actual sensor itself or the latch. So pretty easy job, pretty easy to check. So we'll move on to the next one and we will see you there. So join us on the next one. This is one of our trade customers. They've fitted a new fuel pump control module to this BMW. So the fault codes that we've got are as follows. So we've got coding data and not encoding a couple other faults. So this is basically going to need programmed in. So we are going to go into the programming side using the Phoenix X-Link. There'll be a link in the description on where you can get this. So basically, if we go into coding and program, the battery's getting a wee bit low, should put this on a charge, but we'll just need to deal with that now. So if we go into coding and program, click next, and we'll go into coding system list. And you can see there we've got electronic fuel pump. So we'll click on that, turn off ignition, wait 15 seconds. So turn off ignition, And what that's going to do is just recode the module, and you can see it's as quick as that. Recoding has been done. So we'll click OK, and depending on how good the battery is in this thing, it should probably start. The battery's completely dead, so we need to put this on a trickle charger now. So the battery's been allowed to get a wee bit of charging about it. So all we need to do now is just see if it'll fire up. You can see she fires up first time, so what we need to do now is do a full system health scan and make sure there isn't any other fault codes, and make sure that those coding issues are away. But as always, these fuel pump modules do need coded in. On the newer ones as well, they also need coded, or else they won't start. Well, I've found anyway that they won't actually fire up. They do actually need to be programmed in, so just keep that in mind if you ever change one of them. So let's get this health scan done and see what fault codes we've got, if any. One thing I won't get fed up of is the high-speed scan function on this TOPDON Phoenix X-Link. It's just done a full system scan of this BMW in a matter of seconds. So we'll see what fault codes we've got left. Got a couple of fuel supply issues which are bound to be there. A couple of faults that are not relevant that we've actually repaired. So we'll just do a full system clear. And the only fault we've got left is brake pad wear, which we're not here for. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.